And welcome back to another daily devotion. I'm Pastor Roy here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City, Iowa, and this devotion is for Wednesday, March 8th of 2023. We are in the 6th chapter of the book of 1 Corinthians. We've been working our way through 1 Corinthians here slowly but surely, and today we are going to get into chapter 6. We're going to look at verses 1 through 8 today. Tomorrow we're going to tackle verses 9, 10, and 11. I decided to give those their own day. That's going to be a little more contentious. And I will pre-warn you, or forewarn you, I should say, that tomorrow we're going to switch translations. We've been using the RSV, and I usually use the RSV for these devotions. There's been a couple of them I've used other translations. I think I might have used the NIV and the NRSV. I don't remember. Or maybe even the New Century Version on one of them. I tend to like the Revised Standard Version, but in the verses 9, 10, 11, there's a problem with the RSV. But we'll deal with that tomorrow. So let's look at verses 1 through 8 today. And this is about lawsuits among believers. And Paul here has been trying to be corrective with them. And remember, a couple of days ago, we were talking about it. He was saying, I say this not to your shame, when he actually was saying it to their shame. Here he comes in and says that he says this to, I say this to shame you. He's switched from being sarcastic to being poignant here today. So take a listen. And this is, again, chapter 6, verses 1 to 8 in 1 Corinthians. When one of you has a grievance against a brother, does he dare go to law before the unrighteous instead of the saints? Do you not know that the saints will judge the world? And if the world is to be judged by you, are you incompetent to try trivial cases? Do you not know that we are to judge angels? How much more matters pertaining to this life? If then you have such cases, why do you lay them before those who are least esteemed by the church? I say this to your shame. Can it be that there is no man among you wise enough to decide between members of the brotherhood? But brother goes to law against brother, and that before unbelievers. To have lawsuits at all with one another is defeat for you. Why not rather suffer wrong? Why not rather be defrauded? But you yourselves wrong and defraud, and that even your own brethren. Okay, and this is the RSV, just in case you make sure that you understand that. The problem here is that there's contention, there's disagreements among the church, and they're going so far as to sue each other. And it doesn't say what the grievances are, whether it's an inheritance or what have you. Perhaps you've got family members. Nothing can cause more disruption and more lawsuits than family inheritance. I know well about that one. I've seen that more than enough in my own family. Any rate, we back up. They're not supposed to be doing that. He's saying you need to be dealing with these things internally. Why would you take it to this judge? These judges are very worldly, and of course, in this day and age, remember, these are not judges that are gotten those positions because of their understanding of the law or their talent or ability to be fair and just. It's about money. They were given them as rewards for power because there was money to be made in those positions. So they're not necessarily the right people to be giving you the judgments, is part of the problem here. But the real problem is that you're witnessing to the world that you have disagreements. And a big part of it is our witness to ourselves, witnesses to the world. We can't even get along with each other. How are we supposed to get along with anybody else? How are we supposed to why would anybody want to join us if we're constantly suing each other? Why would anybody want to be part of our happy little family? Well, they wouldn't, because they see the family as being unhappy. So the point is that we need to deal with these things internally, brother to brother. And Paul goes on to say, and of course I'm going to backtrack just a bit, where it says judge the world. That really would be better translated. There's better translated as to rule or reign over, not judge. We don't get to judge the world, folks. Reign over the world. Jesus judges the world. Okay, but are we not competent enough to settle our own disagreements? What's wrong with us that we can't even come to those agreements amongst one another? And again, he says, I say this to your shame. We should be shamed. We should feel shamed We should feel shame sometimes. We'll get into that tomorrow. We should feel shame over some of the arguments that we make for some of our behaviors. We really should, and I think we do, and that's part of the reason why we hold so hard to them is because we can't let go of them, or else we have to admit that we should be shameful. Um, None of us likes that, but I digress. But his point here is that you would be better off to just let this go, to let this slide. The church would be better off, but you would be too, because you're supposed to be witnessing for Christ. And if your witness, what's financial? What is you? Are you any of you going to take anything out of this world? There's only one thing you take out of this world, and that's your salvation, folks. The rest of it is going to be left behind. Nobody takes a U-Haul or a moving van with them when they go to the grave. Though I did one time see somebody that had a classic, I believe it was an SS Camaro on a flatbed following the hearse. That was kind of interesting. Kind of shows you where his priorities in life were, though. That's very sad. But I digress again. We need to understand that these disagreements, if our arguments here, even within the church, cause disruption, cause the church to fracture and break, what good were our arguments? I want to hold to it because of my ego and my pride, and by God, I'm going to be right, even if everybody goes, even if the whole thing falls down in ashes around me, the whole thing crumbles. I don't care. I'm going to be right, and that's the problem. Again, the most common reason I've been told by my mentor, the most common reason churches fail is because of the color or because of the music, and the second one is the color of the new carpet. I don't know if that's statistically true or not, but that's why churches split over silly little things. And I think I mentioned a few devotions back, maybe a couple weeks back, I had heard somebody say that the craziest one they had heard, and it's the craziest one I ever heard, over a church splitting was over the length of the pastor's beard. Apparently somebody thought the pastor's beard was getting too long. Hope not in our church. But at any rate, spring's coming. Any rate, the point is, you'd be better off, the church would be better off, the body of Christ would be better off. We should be caring about the body of Christ, the church, more than we care about anything else. Not about our own financial gain, not about us being right or wrong, not about our ego. Let go of that ego, folks. That is the big, big point. So, tomorrow we jump into 9, 10, 11. A little bit tougher stuff, as if this wasn't tough enough. Ego is not tough enough. Get into some tougher stuff. So with that, I'm going to let you go for today. Please have a blessed day, and please be a blessing to someone today. And if you do enjoy these devotions, please like and subscribe and share. We'd love to have you back and some of your friends and family or whatever, more members of your church. Take care. God bless you all. Bye-bye.